Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, and today we're coming to you from Main Street in Warner, where they are helping to build a better community by providing unique outdoor and indoor facilities to congregate, entertain, share, and reflect, and offering programs and support to inspire, educate, and recognize artists, youth, and the whole of the community. This week, we'll hear from a board member about the great local organization. Niboli Luppold from the Library Arts Center will tell us about a show currently hanging that supports the Turning Points Network. Jen Esten will give us some direction of loon watching. And we'll close with Lindsey, Schust, and John Hodgson of the Andover Historical Society. They'll give us a brief history of Richard Potter, the namesake of Potter Place. But first, these messages from the good local businesses that are underwriting today's show. Remember, buying local is an important way to sustain our community. We'll be right back.
Can I go to the sleepover?
I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and backup generators. Their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.
Welcome back to your Yankee Chronicle. I'm Abby Peel, your host. Rachel DeThomas is a board member of our host location today, Main Street Warner. Let's hear from her on their mission and what's cooking.
Thanks, Abby. Rachel couldn't be with us today, so I'm filling in for her. And we're really excited about Main Street Warner being able to open up their concert season starting early this summer. We actually have our final concert of the season scheduled this coming Thursday, September 22nd at 6:30. The artist will be Senny Hunt and his band, the Senny Hunt Project. Wonderful combination of classic blues, soul, southern rock, and then on to the Warner Fall Foliage Festival, the 75th annual Fall Foliage Festival. After 2 years not having the festival due to COVID, we're going to kick off the festival with everybody's favorite, the Dobros, and they'll be here on the stage starting at 6:30 Friday, October 7th. And then there'll be music throughout the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, so a full schedule here. Main Street Warner has been very active over the last couple of years. Back in September 2020, we were fortunate to be able to purchase the historic Masonic Lodge right here in the center of Warner. And we really see this as a way to further connect with the community. It really gives us a physical home now, Main Street Warner's physical home. And it needs a lot of work. The Masons took good care of it. It was a Baptist church starting in 1833. And what it will do is give us about a 2,000 square foot concert venue. And then also, equally important, if not more, is the other side of the building, and where it will serve as a community kitchen for the area. Starting in 2020, in the midst of COVID, we were struck, as many communities were, with increase in food insecurity. And so Main Street Warner jumped up to the plate so to speak, and saw this as a great opportunity to fill a very important need in the community. You know, we're surrounded by all of these wonderful farmers. We have so much going in respect to our local food system, which we've all worked very hard to maintain over the years. But the region does not have a commercial kitchen to be able to process all of this wonderful food. So thanks to a recent grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, from the Community Development Finance Authority, other private donors, we're going to be able to start building out the community kitchen. Being able to provide this wonderful local food to area food pantries, and it will continue to be an educational center. We're hoping to offer cooking classes. We're going to bring in area chefs to help us out with that programming. We'll continue to reach out to the community for help, for volunteers, for donations, and with that in mind, during Fall Foliage Festival, we're going to set up our scholarship book sale, the Jim Mitchell Scholarship program that MainStreet Warner sponsors, that provides scholarships to Warner graduating seniors who are moving on to college, to apprenticeship programs, other things. You know, been able to support students, with thousands of dollars towards their higher education. So reach out to us. You can go into our website and you'll see a volunteer form to fill out, and let us know if you can be a help, not only for the festival and the book sale, but continuing throughout the year. So keep in touch, and as Jim Mitchell always said, there's something wonderful happening in Warner, always.
Thanks to MainStreet Warner for all you do for this community. When we come back, Kate Niboli will give us a glimpse of a new show hanging at the Library Arts Center in Newport, and learn how it is supporting the efforts of the Turning Points Network. But first, these words from a local business that makes this show possible with their underwriting gifts.
We are strong and we'll get through this together, but these are stressful times. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, and know that you are not alone. Visit wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station. We are strong and we'll get through this together, but these are stressful times. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, and know that you are not alone. Visit wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. The latest show hanging at Newport's Library Arts Center is both engaging and fundraising. Tell us more, Kate.
The Library Arts Center is so proud to be sponsored with Turning Point Network and the New Hampshire's Women Caucus for Art to bring this incredible exhibit, a very powerful exhibit called Turning Points, to our gallery. This show features work by artists in the Women's Caucus, which is an organization that's statewide and features and supports women artists all around with different mediums and styles. It also exhibits artwork by survivors and staff members at Turning Point Network. All are shown together as one body, not separated out into each category, and all of the artwork has to do with surviving trauma, surviving domestic and sexual abuse, living through that, and growing healthy. So it's just an incredibly powerful exhibit that brings all these pieces together and is aimed to bring awareness to Turning Points Network, which is an incredible organization in Sullivan County, while also highlighting and building community for people realizing that domestic and sexual violence is sadly all around us and something that we can face together, and art helps us face things and community helps us face things. Artwork in this exhibit is for sale, the proceeds of which benefit Turning Point Network. And there's a wide variety of work done by artists from all different mediums and styles, bringing a large representation of empowerment through the arts. And all entry fees by artists from the Women's Caucus go to Turning Points. So as well as being a great awareness tool and community building tool, this is also a wonderful and powerful fundraiser through the arts for Turning Point Network. The Library Arts Center has happily partnered with Turning Point Network at different times through my time here at least, and I think before then, but we've done so to highlight what Turning Points does for the community and to highlight through arts and to highlight by building opportunities for artists and community members to come together and celebrate and support Turning Points Network. The Library Arts Center has also been very, very privileged to work with the Women's Caucus for Art through the years. We've done many different shows. This is our first one that is done as a show in support of another organization. So there are 3 organizations partnered together to bring this community event to life. The Library Arts Center is located in the heart of downtown Newport on the town common, attached to the library building. We are open Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 4, and Saturdays 10 to 2. This exhibit is open through October 13th. For full details on this exhibit and other Arts Center programs, please visit libraryartscenter.org.
Thanks, Kate, and thanks to the Library Arts Center for all you do in the Sunshine Town. This is the time of year that our loon population prepares to move to winter quarters. There is still time to view them on our lakes. When we return, we'll get some instructions on how to do so. But to keep your viewing of Yankee Chronicle, we'll hear from one of the fine businesses that underwrites our show.
Getting out of bed, bathing, getting dressed, cooking and cleaning are some of the everyday tasks that people often need help with as they age. And the Lake Sunapee V&A team is here to help. Our homemaker companions, personal care service providers, and licensed nursing assistants are passionate about providing the care and support that keep our clients safe, secure, and as independent as possible in the homes they love.
It's very rewarding, but it's also my way of giving back. I've had family members that needed the V&A, and their services were wonderful, and it's just my way of saying thank you.
I'm just filled with so much pride, and I'm fulfilled to be able to work here, to be able to hang out with residents and patients like Helen, hear their stories, help them when they need help, has fulfilled my life in ways that I could never explain.
Anybody who loves their home and believes in their home as much as I do, you can't imagine being anyplace else. It brings tears to your eyes when you think you can be in your home.
If you are interested in a meaningful career in home care, we are interested in talking to you, even if you have no previous experience. Our entry-level positions offer room for growth, and our on-the-job training, welcoming culture, and supportive team are just a few of the things that make working here so special. Check out our website to learn more or contact us to set up a shadow experience and see for yourself what a career in home care is all about.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper, Echo Communications.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Abby Peel, your host. One of the wonderful aspects of living in this area is viewing the wildlife. Loons are one of the most popular. Let's learn how to do so without stressing these beautiful creatures. Hi, Jen.
I've been watching the loons on Pleasant Lake for 18 or 20 years and watched them raise their chicks, and I've learned a lot about watching loons in the process and how to give them the space they need. One of them is not to follow them. If you really want to see loons, you need to just sit, put your paddle down if you're in a kayak, and drift. And one thing that we find important is to be on the lake side of the loons. If you get in between the shore and the birds and you're drifting towards them, it pushes the loons out into the middle of the lake where there are motorboats and other hazards. They will let you know if you're too close.
My strategy in a kayak or a paddleboard or something would be get a good sense of which way the wind's blowing, get upwind from them at a safe distance and just let the wind blow you peacefully by them. If they get agitated, back up, go away. You can come around and try it again. We find our best pictures we get, we're using really high-powered cameras. This is a 100 to 500 millimeter lens, and that's basically what I'm mostly shooting. I think the best way to watch loons, if you're not trying to get professional pictures, is to use binoculars. A good pair of binoculars, you can basically drift along, watch what they're doing, spend a little while with them, come back some other day and check them out again.
And some of the behavior you might see if you're infringing on their space is their foreheads feathers go up and get squared off, and their heads are lifted up high, or their heads are way down low in the water. And they'll also do a behavior called penguining, when they will get up and come charging at you on their back feet. If they're on a nest and you're getting anywhere close, they'll put their head way down low on the nest, and then you know you're too close then too. Well, 150 feet is the best distance to keep. We find that we can get closer in the kayak, putting down the paddle and drifting. They will sometimes then come to you, and you can find yourself quite close to them. We also recommend not getting in between the parents and their chick. That can distract the parents and leave the chick vulnerable to predation. Once the chicks hatch, they're on the nest only a day or two, and then they're off, and that's it. They don't go back again. The rest of the summer they're out on the water. And when they're tiny, they're very hard to see. They're little brown balls of fluff. They're also very afraid of dogs. We've seen people in motorboats with their dogs, and if the dog's barking, they get very, very agitated. Well, Loon Preservation Committee is one of the best loon organizations in the country. They do a lot of research, and they've brought back the population in this state dramatically. But one of the ways they've done that, and we've done it on this lake, is with nesting rafts. If people would want to know more about loons and the Loon Preservation Committee, go to loon.org. If you'd like to know more about Pleasant Lake Protective Association, go to plpa.net. We have a link on there to sign up for our newsletter. We put out a newsletter. John and I write a newsletter every maybe 10 days to 2 weeks, and we document our loon family all summer long, and we've added a lot of information about the local watershed as well, nature and science of watershed. And John, being a biologist, it can be very informative.
Thanks, Jen and John, for taking the time to teach us how to approach these beautiful birds. When we return, we'll be with Lindsey Schust and John Hodgson in Potter Place to hear about its namesake. But first, these words from another fine local business that helps underwrite our show.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
The American Red Cross blood supply is at historically low levels this winter, and we're facing a dangerous situation. Hospitals and patients are counting on donors to get the blood they need. Make a life-saving appointment today. Visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
This program is supported by MainStreet Bookends of Warner for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. MainStreet Bookends of Warner.
Welcome back to your Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host this week, Abby Peel. A really interesting national entertainer and celebrity lived in our area and even has a section of Andover named after him. Tell us about it, Lindsey and John.
So Richard Potter is the namesake of this part of Andover, which is actually called Potter Place. Growing up in Andover, I'd heard about him my whole life, and it wasn't until 2018 when John Hodgson wrote a book about him that it came to the forefront into the public view of like, this is a real historic person. It's not just a folk tale of Andover.
200 years ago, Richard Potter was the most famous entertainer in America. That's a very bold statement. It's absolutely true. He was the most widely beheld, the most popular, and the most widely known. We don't know much about him today because he wasn't recorded, he wasn't photographed. This was all happening before 1835 when he died. But from 1815 to 1835, there was no one who could match Richard Potter as a performer in America. He also was a black man. So he had a white father. He was known as a mulatto. Came from very humble origins then, and as I said, became the most famous entertainer in America and the most famous black man in America during this period of time. That he was also in the forefront of his professions as a ventriloquist, a magician, and a sort of one-man performer, to a degree that, as it turns out, significantly influenced American theater itself. Richard Potter traveled with an assistant who was the black sheep of a local family, and certainly came up here with his assistant one time, thought Andover was a lovely place to live, and immediately bought property here and expanded it. He moved here in 1815, living in a house of his own architectural design, patterned after the most fashionable houses in Boston and Newburyport and Salem. And from 1815 to 1835, he was quite simply the most famous person in Andover. This end of town became known as the Potter Place. When the railroad came through, the Northern Railroad in the 1840s, the depot here was named in his honor and memory, Potter Place. And by that time, he was dead. His cemetery, right behind me, his house, which once stood immediately to my right, was a tourist site for years and years and years. And you'll find people recording their visits to the place where Potter once lived for decades after his death. From 1819 through 1824, he toured through the entire United States as it then existed. taking a quick trip first, a long trip to New York City, where it became absolutely the toast of the town. During his lifetime, Richard Potter performed, I think it's safe to say, in every state in the United States as it then existed, and I believe every territory except Michigan, because he was probably observed by more of his fellow Americans than any other man of his time.
Andover has joined the Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire, which is, I would say, a fairly recent organization that's pulling together all these historical sites in New Hampshire that have a reference to Black history. On August 7th, we had an unveiling of the plaque, which you see right here. This officially joins us with the Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire and puts Andover on the map and puts Potter Place on the map. It's becoming a location of significance that people want to come to. September 30th, we're having a follow-up event to the unveiling. Is an evening of ventriloquism and history. It's going to feature a renowned ventriloquist from New York City, Dan Richard, and everyone's welcome. It's free. You can reserve a ticket online. There's a reception beforehand taking place at Proctor Academy. They're hosting the event, so it will be in the Norris Family Theater, and the event starts at 7. So for more information on the event or to reserve a seat, go to our website and there'll be a link to reserve a ticket and more information on the event.
Wow, who would have guessed? Mark your calendars to learn even more about this amazing man. Next week, we'll be right back here overlooking the performance venue of MainStreet Warner. Ray Martin, the president of the Warner Fall Foliage Festival, will give us a rundown of what's in store Columbus Day weekend. Emily Cobb, the chief of police in New London, will invite you to a Faith in Blue event. Amy Drummond from the 2022 Duck Drop will give you a good reason to be involved. And I'll close with Ashley Rowley to hear what's cooking at the Lake Sunapee Region Chamber of Commerce. Tune in to our live football game of the week on TDS TV 13 and 1013, NCTV 8, Apple TV, Roku, and at ycnnow.com Saturday the 24th at 1:55 as the Tigers of Newport host the Bears of Newfound. Then at 6:25, the Kearsarge Cougars host the Cardinals of Stevens. At 9:30, a tape-delayed game of the Hopkinton Hawks at the Hanover Marauders. All of our games are replayed on Sunday and Monday at noon and 7 p.m. and anytime on demand at ycnnow.com. Check the program schedule at ycnnow.com for the most up-to-date information on games and replays. Join us again next week at this same time next week for another round of the Who, What, Where, and When show of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region. I'm Abby Peel. Stay safe, everyone.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and backup generators. Their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. MainStreet Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. MainStreet Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.